Yes. Welcome back to Reyes and Victor, Unfiltered with Reyes and Victor. Today's episode is a little different because I'll be interviewing my co-host and longtime friend Victor Guerra, who goes by Victor the Inspiration, about his own podcast, which is called Become the Victor. Victor created a podcast to share meaningful conversation, personal stories, and lessons about overcoming challenges and turning difficult experiences into something positive. Today we're going to talk about what inspired him to begin the podcast, what he hopes listeners receive from it, the challenges of being a podcast host, and what the future looks like for Become the Victor. Victor, like always, welcome to the other side of the interview. Where because I'm not gonna be talking this time, I'm just gonna be asking. So he'll be like my guest this time, co-host slash guest, I guess.
Yeah, co-host.
All right. All right, I'll start with the first. For anyone hearing about it for the first time, how would you describe the Become the Victor podcast?
I would describe Become the Victor podcast as the one thing we can all relate to is every single one of us has a story, and every single one of us goes through some form of an adversity. Some, of course, more severe than others. But at the end of the day, the meaning behind become the victor is despite your circumstances, you can always become the victor within your story. The meaning behind the name victor means to conquer, it means to win, it means to triumph. So I like to highlight that despite, again, whatever it is you go through, and regardless of the doubts that arise, or just despite how far that you think you cannot get through this tunnel or this season or this challenge that you are currently going through, it's a reminder like, hey, you're okay. Continue to put one foot in front of the other because at the end of all of this, you will become the victor within your own story.
What inspired you to start your own podcast?
So I started this podcast so I'm the author of Become the Victor, Turning Trials into Triumph. And I always aspired to start a podcast, but I really didn't know what the name was going to be, how I really wanted to approach it. Like I have always been inspired by like Ellen DeGeneres TV shows, Steve Harvey's, Oprah Winfrey's. And I had this idea to kind of do how they approached their TV show, but add my own unique twist to it. And I always aspired to that idea, but I didn't know exactly what the name was going to be, how I was going to begin it, and everything. So when my book became published and I really started to entertain the thought of starting my podcast, then I was like, become the victor. That's a smart approach. And have the same approach, the same mindset, okay, what's going to be the meaning behind it. It's all about interviewing people who turned their trials into triumph. So it's a little bit of a marketing tactic there, but with a significant meaning to highlight and share other people's stories from all walks of life, whether they have a disability or they don't. At the end of the day, everyone has a story, but not everyone is able and overcomes parts of their story. And that's what I want to highlight. I don't want to highlight, what someone is going through. I want to highlight, okay, what did you go through and what is your testimony behind it?
Okay. How does the message of the podcast connect to your journey living with SMA type 2?
That's a great question. So it relates to my own personal brand. I would say Victor, the inspiration, is because my brand within itself, or my message, or my content, long before Become the Victor came into play, or long before the book came into play, is I always, shared my story just like a normal post, like everyone else that posts on social media. But at the end of the day, I always understood that I always had a message of resilience. I always had a message like, hey, things get better. Everything is going to be okay. And it all kind of correlates all together from my personal brand to the book to my podcast. It's been a journey.
Okay, nice, nice, like the answer. What do you hope listeners feel or learn after hearing an episode?
It's how I end my episodes, which is, comment down below, where did you feel less alone? Because again, everyone has a story, right? And I think many of us, especially when we're going through a season, and this is me talking from personal experience, but when you're going through a season, when you're going through, say, a dark valley, so to speak, is many of us believe we are the only ones going through this. We believe we are the ones that have it the worst of the worst. No one in the world is going through something worse than I am. We believe that nothing is ever going to get better. And by me bringing these guests and by me sharing, being part of highlighting other people's stories is a reminder like, hey, you do have it bad, but maybe this person has it worse, or maybe this person can enlighten you to showcase to you what really is possible when you maybe continue to show up or when you continue to put one foot in front of the other. Or if you're spiritual, if you keep the faith within the process. And there's so much, it's like a form of art that kind of all transpires where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm not alone within this process. There are other people that can relate to me. And anyone who has turned any form of a test into a testimony has these unique life lessons and mental tools to share amongst others to help other people through the processes that they themselves may think they cannot overcome.
Okay, okay, I like the answer. Another good answer. What kind of guest stories and topics? I don't know. We can cut the topics part because it's all about the guests and stories. Do you want to feature on the podcast?
So who do I want to feature on the podcast?
Yeah, who do you feature? We can go based
Yeah.
on that one.
So what I do, the way I approach the guests that I reach out to is I utilize the power of social media. We live in a digital age. And the way I approach is I come across these individuals as it is. My algorithm is pretty positive. So it's all about, people with a resilience mindsets or overcoming adversity or people who have a testimony, things like that. So my algorithm really does play a very vital part when it comes to the researching my people or my guest. And I come across these people and if I see a certain caption or if I see something that they are doing and it fascinates me, I'm like, click their profile, quickly scan through it. Sometimes their bio, already tells me way more than enough than I need, and I end up sending them a message, and hopefully I get a reply back. And I just like to highlight people that have a story to share, and again, not just someone who is going through a season, but I want people on the show where they have gone through some form of a trial and tribulation and overcame that. To me, that's a real powerful transformation comes from. Isn't like, hey, I'm going through depression and you stay there. But, I was going through depression and I became a published author. I gone through depression where I was on a psychiatric hold, and now I have my own podcast, Become the Victor podcast, where I interview people that they too themselves has a story.
Yeah, well, Victor, like I do the same thing like Victor is saying. I look, everything is all about disability, so I see individual. Sometimes the individual living, the parents, siblings, anybody, like some, depends what disability they have and who's, creating the content and stuff. Like Victor said, I click on the profile, maybe see a clip of their video. Maybe I'll come through across a clip from their video, or I like their content, how they, seem like they're open to talking, interviewing. So that's why I go based on that, like Victor was saying. All right, the next question: how do you prepare before interviewing a guest?
So I do my diligence on exactly who it is I'm going to have on the show. So I do not do extensive diligence prior to, just because to put it in perspective, I have sent over 1,000 messages and emails, probably way more, where literally only out of all of those people, like less than 30 people actually got back to me. And, just to put it in perspective, the amount of work that go into it. So I don't reach out to someone and wait for a reply and then do all of this diligence and work. And I have, wasted all of this time and resources, where I could have put it somewhere else. So I reach out to these people, and once they actually book on my calendar and we get a date scheduled when to record our interview, then that's when I do my actual diligence, my actual research. Okay, who exactly is this individual? What is it that they do?
Yeah.
What is it that they believe in? What's their mission? And so on and so forth. And right before the interviews, then, I study these individuals, and I become mentally prepared, and I kind of like to put myself in their mindset a little bit. Okay, what is it that they may want to be asked? What is a good question? What are good questions to ask? What are questions that I maybe shouldn't ask? And I kind of get an understanding of how to lead the conversation.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Once I have a day, I start generating the question. What has been the most enjoyable part of becoming a podcast host?
What has been the most what?
Enjoyable part of becoming a podcast host.
Having having the ability to network. I think that's actually a good one. It builds up your network. But one of the most favorite things about starting this podcast is one, I didn't realize it in the beginning was again, network. You're building a potential lifelong relationship. But two is having the ability to highlight and showcase other people's stories. Like it's in a weird way, it's me interviewing these people, but there's so much wisdom and tools that they also are providing to me. And it goes on a much bigger scale because of these episodes are being recorded and being shared with to my audience. It's helping not just me, but it's helping so many other people because again, everyone has a story, and anyone who has ever turned a trial into a triumph or a test into a testimony has the ability to connect and reach individuals who they themselves are navigating a similar experience or a worser experience where it gives them that sense of enlightenment, like, hey, everything is going to be okay.
Yeah, I see. I get the networking part. I feel like you get to meet people from different places. You hear their stories as well. And yeah, you stay connected with a lot of people. All my guests I've stayed connected with. All great people, going through their own struggles, but at the same time, they're, great people to have conversations with. What has been one of the biggest challenges you have experienced while building the podcast?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm laughing because not many people I think would notice this. Like they might come across my podcast and are like, dang, he has some really good guests, from reality TV contestants to artists to serial entrepreneurs who are
I mean, it's
generating.
true. You have a good guess.
Yeah, there's so many people that I interview and get on the show, and serial entrepreneurs who are generating over $250,000, and someone who generated billions of dollars in their company and things like that, which is even crazy to say out loud. But I started to laugh there because many people would see that, see the highlights or the wins, right? But many people actually don't understand how much work and time and diligence and that go on behind the scenes. Like again, in the very, very, very beginning, I was sending out a minimum of 100 DMs and emails every single day just to get that one person to reply back to me. And sometimes these individuals would get back to me, and next thing you know, because I'm small or because maybe they forgot or whatever, I'm sitting in front of the computer waiting for them to join, and there's no shows. And then I reach out to them, hey, is everything okay? I just want to, yada yada, like, I joined whatever, and and no form of communication. So there's been a few of those. There's been people who maybe got tied up and overlooked it. So then I started to learn very early on, okay, whenever you book these individuals, send a follow-up message, or not a follow-up, but a reminder. Hey, are we still good for July 5th, for example? and get that confirmation and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we're so good," or "Hey, you know what? I am so sorry. Something actually came up. Can we reschedule?" And you simply just like learn as you go. But that's like been one of the biggest challenges in the very beginning. Now it's kind of, I think, subsiding a little bit just because I'm starting to build um a reputation now, especially with the people I'm interviewing. And it's not smooth sailing, I can tell you that much. But just put it
Yeah, you
simply,
learn from
putting
it.
one foot in front of the other.
I agree with Victor. You learn from it. For me, like I learn from it now. Now I figured like you can schedule your emails. I don't know if you do that.
You can schedule emails.
Yeah, you pick the
I,
timing. That's why I have like 20 right now. Look, right now I can show you I have like freaking like 10, 9 emails. The last couple of days, no reply yet.
I know you can schedule iPhone to iPhone text messaging.
No, you
I
can
didn't know you could do
schedule.
emails.
You can do emails like you can do like 20 emails in a day, different time, when, where, what
That's
time, when.
crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's
I'm definitely gonna
I didn't know
take
that either.
advantage of that.
I clicked on it by accident. It said schedule. And then I looked it. I'm like, what the hell does schedule send me? They're like, you can schedule different. You pick the day and time when to send it. So right now I have like five, six, I think 9 of them. I have
Awesome.
one going. I have one going next week. So I'm like Friday no, because like today no, because everybody gets like it's the weekend. Nobody's gonna check that. So that's my strategy. Saturday and Sunday obviously no. Monday
And
yeah.
I actually want to share a secret with you. I never shared this publicly, and it's
All
not really a
right.
secret either. But that mentality
Okay.
you just had is exact opposite I had. I love to approach people on weekends just because everyone has the same mentality. Oh, it's the weekend, they're not checking their emails. I promise you, if these, depending on the individual, like I interview people sometimes with
No,
high
yeah, I
competition.
think,
Weekends is the best time to get in contact with some individuals.
yeah, I seen that some individual have reached out to me. They reply back on the weekend, but most of them has always been in the week.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of see the pattern. So yeah, so you can schedule your, emails, make it a lot. The DMs, I'll just go that day. I don't care
Yeah.
what time it is. I'll just send it. I'm like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So, so has
And even
hosting the
too, something I never mentioned is once you start sending out DMs so many times, you actually sometimes get restricted to comment or to send messages. And even too, sometimes at a certain point, I don't know what number it is because I never counted, but after you reach, I know it's definitely over 100, that's for sure.
no
But after you
that
reach a
that
certain point, those messages do not get sent. And I didn't know that until I was just going and going and going.
I
And
kind of
then
did.
something just told me
No,
like, hey, just check if this is being sent. I refresh my page and it's not.
no, that's why I kind of have a different strategy. I'm like, I always look for an email or I would contact them, and if they don't have an email or no contact in DM, for most it's also about email, email, email.
Yeah.
I
Whatever,
always look at.
like what I do is I'll literally send them a DM. I'll comment on their post, may sometimes even a few, depending if I really, really, really want this individual. And then I always send them an email if it's whatever their preferred contact is on their page. I'll do that. I'll literally maximize opportunity as much as possible.
Yeah, but for me, like mine says, like don't just focus on one guest. Have several guests. Have different options to pick from. So that's my right now. I have like several that I need. I mean, there's several that we're still figuring out when
Yeah,
they're able to. I mean, it's not. We're not gonna. We're gonna do it, but I don't know when. We're still figuring. Maybe next month or a couple of months.
yeah,
We're still figuring it out right now. Has
nice.
host has hosting a podcast helped you become more confident as a speaker and interviewer? If so, how?
That's a good one. I actually want to say yes, just because, like, again, like anyone coming across me for the first time is I had a lot of complications going on with my handicap van, literally since the beginning of the year. So I essentially had no handicap van, pretty much all year. Just got the van back a few weeks ago. And but where I'm going with that is when you don't have the opportunity to go outdoors, your social interaction is decreased, right? So by me starting the podcast, it has significantly helped with my form of communication. It has significantly helped with my mental health as well. And it's a win-win. I'm interviewing these people. I'm developing that social interaction. And to these individuals that I'm speaking to are, in a way, mentoring me while they are mentoring my audience.
Yeah, I didn't expect that answer, but I like the answer. You know, you like I said, you get to meet a lot of people, and a lot of them, most of them, like all of them, we can stay connected with them. So I feel like for me, like I want to be one. I want to be like well-known interviewer. Some of the people look and respect, like oh he doesn't rush us. He respects. He tries to. You know, like I always say, like I always tell my guests, any questions? I don't know if you do that. I always like any questions, any comments you guys want to say before we start.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I'm like, any questions? Then I'll give them the damn like, I should have it. Realistically, I'll be like, I should have it certain day. They'll be like, you know, and I always send them a message. You know, hey, your video was up. You guys want to share? Do whatever you share. You know, with family or whatever. I'll send you the link if you guys want.
Yeah.
Collaborate if you want. I'll send them a collaboration link. I'm like, you guys can either collaborate or not, but I'll still send it to you. Whatever you guys want to do. So I want to not be known like that, being like, oh, an interviewer that's respectful of everything, you know, makes his guests feel comfortable, you know.
Yeah.
And then we're going to the next question, which is, what makes Become the Victor different from other motivational or inspirational podcasts?
What? Because I am not just I'm not just talking motivation. It's not a place just for inspiration. It's people from all walks of life, whether you have a disability or whether you don't, whether you are interested in entrepreneurship, there's definitely a story for you. If you're interested in becoming a singer, there's a story for you. If you're interested in becoming um a world record holder or whatever the case may be. There's definitely a story for you. And the thing I love about more so my audience is that, again, it's not just about one particular topic. Like every conversation is different. Like the topic, yes, is what is your story, right? But it's so much more beneath that because I have interviewed guests where people are like, wow, they're like, I never been asked that question, or you know what, I never actually share this with anyone, and but I'm comfortable with you, and they become so vulnerable and so open sharing what it is that they were going through. Like I had someone talk about how they had very dark, depressive thoughts where they almost followed through with these negative, repressed thoughts, and they openly share that with my audience, and I find so much strength and beauty in all of that because again, you're not just coming to a place for inspiration. You're not just coming to a place for motivation. Like you're coming to a place where if you're going through depression, these videos will help you. If you're navigating anxiety, if you're navigating entrepreneurship, if you're navigating living with a disability or whether it's a progressive one or not, these stories will connect with you. And I find that so empowering and in my eyes quite extraordinary.
All right, final question. What are your future goals for the podcast, and where do you hope it will be a year from now or the next couple of years as well?
That's some very highly classified information. That's a bit of a joke there, but
I knew
I
it.
I will I will I
All
will
right, interview done then.
I will share that one of my goals that I hope this eventually leads to me having my own television show, I think would be pretty cool. A lot of
That'd
the
be cool.
people,
I want my own show too, like my own
a lot
show
of
about
a
would be
lot of
nice.
people I looked up to, their shows are no longer here. Kelly Clarkson actually just even shut down her show, so
Yeah, I
I
seen
feel like
that.
the shows aren't really going to be there anymore. I would love to kind of keep that going and kind of carry the torch. I think would be really, really cool.
That'd be cool.
And
Like
Netflix,
and having a disability. When have you seen a house with a just not a lot? I don't think it's that common.
Yeah,
I would like
yeah,
to have that style, have guests from disability, have them, have all my guests on there would be nice, be like, hey, I interviewed them on YouTube, but let's do it a lot bigger, reach better audience.
yeah. And even too, Netflix started hosting podcasts on their platform.
Yeah,
That'd
I
be a
want to
good one
know.
too. But
I'm gonna search that up. How can you guys have me on there? I want to have my podcast on Netflix.
yeah, need it.
That
Yeah,
would be, yeah, that would be nice. Have ours too.
there's ways to it, but yeah, you got to create that opportunity.
Right. So that's what we're doing. We're creating this and our own personal podcast as well. So hopefully we can get there on our own show.
Yeah,
All right. All right. Victor, thank you for sharing the story. Perfect. We can become the Victor podcast. I know we wanted to do something different because Victor got the idea. 'Cause I honestly didn't have anything for this time. I'm proud of you creating another platform where people can share their journey, overcome stereotypes, and find encouragement through honest conversation. Everyone watching or listening, make sure you follow and support Victor Podcast. Become the Victor. Victor, before we finish this podcast, where can people listen to the podcast and follow you on social media? And I'll have the links in the description as well.
yeah. So simply, you can simply Google me, Victor Guerra, Victor the Inspiration. It's at the bottom left hand corner here. Even Alfonso links my stuff within the description. I believe you do. But you guys
I
can look
believe
up
you do. I do. You have your link. He has all his links on the blog, so it makes it a lot easier. Just copy and paste, and you have all the links.
and you guys can find my podcast, Become the Victor Podcast, available on all major podcasting platforms. So Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio is literally distributed absolutely everywhere. So again, you guys can simply Google me, check out my website,
The book.
victortheinspiration.com. Check out my book, Become the Victor, Turning Trials into Triumph. If you simply search up, even if you Google Become the Victor, you'll find me. You can look me up anywhere and everywhere. Definitely been a lot of work behind the scenes for since 2018, but so that's how it's all possible.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching another episode of Unfiltered with Reyes and Victor. And like my co-host say, grow through what you go through. And like always, guys, you know how I end my videos. MD Warrior out. We'll see you guys in the next episode.